Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it's just me for today. And I'm going to try to talk the best I can. As many of you know, we are all still sick with the flu, and it's very hard to talk sometimes. But it's just me for a couple videos, and we're going to start today by talking about Reimagine Tomorrow. Something that, you know, we didn't think we'd be talking about today, but we're talking about it today for a good way because it's dead. It's gone. Reimagine Tomorrow is no more. Lately, a bunch of corporations have been removing their DEI initiatives, or at least discussions of them, in their corporate filings, and Disney did the same. I'm not surprised. They're desperately trying to win back people. You have this going on where you have the Reimagine Tomorrow. Now, they wanted you to have the diversity and equity inclusion training. This is the one where they had the groups that were named. I can't remember what they were named off the top of my head, but they were like really stereotyped names for their groups. That was like, all the Hispanics are called, you know, this. I think, you know, all the, you know, Black people are called that in this group or that group or whatever. And basically, instead of being inclusive, it just was segregating people. These are the people that were behind the Jungle Cruise having to be changed because Trader Sam was a racist stereotype. And it's so much better now that he is no longer in the attraction, but he has taken over the Lost and Found to sell the goods out the back door, because that is so much less, you know, stereotyped and discriminatory than, you know, him being a headhunter because it was based on, you know, those stereotypes for the time. I just think it's funny because it's like, it's not any better. These are also the same people who literally went and talked to the animal conservationists and did a whole article about it, about chimpanzees, so that the animatronic chimpanzees would be laughed with, not laughed at. And I would love to tell you I'm joking, but I'm completely serious. And we've done videos on it. You can go look. So with everything going to shit at Disney, they finally decided that, you know, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe we should, you know, this stuff has backfired. It's cost us a lot of money. Maybe it's time that we, you know, silently bury this and just go back to being normal and hiring people based on merit and saying, hey, you know, it's really shitty to judge someone based on gender or race or, you know, sexual preference or religion or things like that are, you know, the normal discussion, like, don't do that. And instead of being like, well, don't do that times 100, like we got with this Reimagine Tomorrow, where basically everybody is great unless you are white, straight, male, or Christian. So before we get into any further, please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo. And we're going to talk about this. So WDW News Today put this up. Now, Reimagine Tomorrow came under fire. I'm trying to remember when that started. It was like 2021 or 2022. I forget when it showed up on the scene. But it got people's attention because there was this training they were doing. And one of the things that they were doing in the training, I remember, was you had to answer this, you know, privilege quiz, basically. And they had questions on there like, hey, have you ever been raped? And I'm like, wait, what? You know, I don't have that in front of me right now, but the questions on it were just like, what? You know, it was insane. So it should have been gone then. And they've gotten rid of the people that would have been pushing this initiative and replaced HR people since. They've already been kind of walking it back little by little, but now it was completely removed from the corporate filing. So WDW Today has this on it. It said, according to NPR, which I saw this the other day, Walt Disney is among several companies to quietly remove their DEI phrasing from their corporate filing. I saw this article yesterday. I was actually talking about it with Neon. We were talking about doing a video on it. We just didn't get a chance to. So they apparently went and looked into it because NPR had mentioned it. And they said, while some companies completely removed DEI verbiage, Disney shortened the section. So they didn't remove it. It's not dead completely. They shortened it, but it's on the way out. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to try to make it look like we're fighting the fight, but they're not gonna. They shortened the section of the report that was filed in November, removing any references to the previous Reimagine Tomorrow initiative. Okay, 2021, and it was somewhere around that time frame. It all blurs together. Been doing this a while. So they've removed references and shortened that section, and you need to get rid of it completely if you haven't done so already. But here we go. The initiative highlighted Disney's efforts to showcase stories and talent from underrepresented communities, as well as intentions for the future. No, it was about pushing diversity inclusion, just like any other company was. And people were being pushed into positions where they probably shouldn't have been there because, you know, they had the right checkboxes. They were passing on shows. Dana Waldron talked about how they passed on a really fantastic sitcom show because it was too white. You know, this is back when we started with the whole, you had to have these many checkboxes to be able to qualify for, you know, film awards and stuff like that. It's been insane. And as a result, you hired a bunch of people that didn't know their ass from a hole in the ground and stuff failed. She-Hulk, The Eternals, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like they could have, I'm not saying anything wrong with these directors. These directors are good at what they do. The problem is you're giving them Marvel. And that's how we got like the Marvels, and we saw how that went. And even though my son said he saw the film and he said it's actually arguably better than the, you know, at least her acting and her character is arguably better than Captain Marvel, people didn't go see it because they were tired of shit like this. And again, we had these groups that, you know, they were representation groups to talk about, you know, their culture and stuff, which, you know, nothing wrong with that really, but they were very stereotyped. And it was also very exclusive. Instead of being like, let's have groups, let's have like a big discussion and like, you know, or have like a big showcase, like the World Showcase. Let's have a showcase where these different groups are going to present their culture, and we could talk about similarities, we talk about differences, and we could talk about how we could use this, you know, to better engage with customers and things like that. But they didn't, but they could have. You know, it's just this idiocy for idiocy's sake. Like there's no real way that this is applying in the real world. And when you tried to apply it, you went too far. Never go full DEI. Don't ever do it. You went too far. And then all you did was, it's a running joke. It is a running joke now with everybody when it comes to Disney that they automatically expect some kind of, you know, far leftist agenda driven bullshit over entertainment. And that is why your films have been failing. And 2023 was the highlight of all that. That was like the climax of it all, with all the stupidity and dumbassery that we came up to that point. So they said some of the bold actions were planned, included having 50% of characters from scripted offerings across Disney General Entertainment to come from underrepresented groups, and adopting inclusion standards across all content, and blah, blah, blah. They were going to re-record, I think they did for some things, re-record character voices in the parks with people that were coded the same way as the characters. So if a character that was, and it was like a lobster, and it's coded, you know, whatever, well, they're going to, you have to make sure they hire an actor that's exactly what that, you know, lobster identifying or whatever. I don't know. But it was stupid. Like they had to re-record with the right type of person. And this is all biting these people in the ass now, because they were all like, with the voice acting community, yes, that's right, you should stay in your own lane. You should only be able to voice characters that you are exactly like. Except a lot of them were getting all kinds of roles of characters that weren't just like them. And they aren't getting those roles now because you have to stay in your lane. And now they're mad about it. Well, I'm a minority, but now I can't, you mean I can't voice the white character? It's like, but you just got done saying that you should only be allowed to voice the characters that look like you. And personally, the whole thing's stupid. If you're the perfect person for the role or for the voice, you should get to play the character. I don't care what color your skin is. This is stupid. It's just absolutely stupid. And it's all biting them in the ass now. Karma is one hell of a thing. Anyway, they're talking about it. They said the initiative came under attack last year when America First Legal filed a federal civil rights complaint against Walt Disney Company for violating Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 by engaging in illegal race, sex, and national origin discrimination. Right. Because they're basically telling their people to hire people that aren't white or male. When they did the Project Veritas, they got hold of one of the guys that were higher up at Disney, and he had flat out said to the girl undercover that he wasn't going to go anywhere for hire because he wasn't the right color and he wasn't the right gender. They're going to want some woman who is probably not white. And it doesn't matter if they're qualified. It just matters that they have the right check boxes. And you can't run a company that way. Plus, it's also not fair to people who are minorities with these DEI mandates, because what happens is someone might completely be qualified for position. They might be the best choice for the position. But because of all the animosity against it and expectations being set against it, people automatically assume they're hired because of those things. And it's really detrimental. It's just toxic the whole way around. They're talking about that. They're talking about how they complain against, strongly suggests that race, color, religion, sex, and national origin are often the only motivating factor in Disney's hiring, training, and promotion decisions. They're intentionally discriminating against white American men, Christians, and Jews simply because of their race, sex, religion, and citizenship. Yeah, they are here. They have the complaint. I remember this. They had examples of it based on the verbiage. Yeah, like here they had some of their mandates for underrepresented groups and inclusion groups. Here's what their quotas were. 50% or more of producers and above on writing staff and 50% or more of co-producer and below on writing staff have to come from underrepresented groups. 50% or more episodic directors have to come from underrepresented groups. Casting director is from an underrepresented group and has not previously worked on a DGE show in this role. So basically there's this saying, meaningful representation of underrepresented groups and senior creative leadership. So basically it doesn't matter if you're qualified, you just have to be represented. And I get what they're trying to do, but what they're trying to do and what they actually did are two different things. And this brought me to this lawsuit we mentioned the other day, too, that most people aren't talking about. But there's a religious discrimination lawsuit filed from Candace McGee in Disneyland Insecurity because she was discriminated against. She's claiming she was discriminated against for religion because in an internal group chat, people were going on and on about diversity and inclusion and the DEI shit. And she didn't say anything at first, but they were bashing Christians. And finally she, said some stuff and then she got fired for it because she sat there and let them attack her religion and made her feel unsafe repeatedly. And then when she fought back, she made them feel unsafe and she should be fired. And they seem to have gone to great lengths to investigate her and things as well. This shit needs to end. It needs to end. Well, there's no word on whether this complaint caused the removal of the Reimagine Tomorrow initiative. I don't think it helped it. I don't think it's the sole cause. I think Trump is a big part of it. Disney has added a new section to the filing which promises to hire, train, and support U.S. military veterans in a program called Heroes Work Here. Now, they've already been doing that for years. Disney has a lot of veterans that work at the Walt Disney Company, and they do a lot of work with veterans. They've had the Gary Sinise Foundation. The Snowball Express comes down there all the time, and they roll the carpet out for them. Disney, and to their credit, they have always done fantastic with veterans. So they're going to try to make an initiative to hire more veterans. I think you just need to, everybody, corporate people, everyday people, mom and pop shops, whatever, just go back to common sense. Are they qualified for the job? Do they have good references? Are they a nice person? Are you worried that they're going to be on their phone or their computer all day on blue sky being activisty and bullshit, not getting anything work done? Are they going to push, for stuff and complain that they're being oppressed and upend the entire work environment? It's just normal stuff. And the thing is, of course, that does not mean that anybody who's, LGBTQ or identifies differently is going to be an activisty type that upends the culture in the office. It doesn't mean that. A lot of people think that these people are full of shit too that are LGBTQ. I can tell you for a fact. So I don't know what's going to happen with it, but a new website page has also been developed where Disney states that they are committed to creating a diverse workforce of talented people who foster an inclusive company culture and enables us to expand our reach beyond global markets and make a positive impact in our communities. They have links to Disney's efforts in hiring, culture, market reach, etc., community. So they're not getting rid of it. How am I going to word this? They think they're still keeping it there somewhat, but they're also walking it back significantly. I think they have to. They're going to probably say, oh, it's because of Trump. They have to because it has cost them so much money. It has cost them so much bad press. It has cost them fan goodwill. You have literally tanked everything over, DEI shit. It's gotten to the place now where it's been for a while, but it's gotten super egregious with like the Acolyte, where you put a show out people don't watch. We're talking in the vocal majority people just didn't watch the show. And they dropped off a clip, the ones that did, because it was not a good show. And immediately, the people that are behind the show and the actors in the show feel like they have the right to immediately just go and blame everybody as being racist, sexist, whatever. Now, not going to go well for your audience, for your fans. If you're blaming everyone just like the show of being a terrible person, even maybe the show had problems, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. Or you could have just trained your staff and said, yes, there's a lot of diversity in this show, but it's organic diversity. And you guys have to understand that not everybody's going to like this show, and it's not because they hate you because you're black, or not because they hate you because you're Asian, or not because they don't like you because you're a woman and have tits, or whatever. It's just because they didn't like the show because the show was stupid and because you shoved a lot of agenda shit in over story. It's not that complicated. You really need to work with your people and put gag orders on some of these idiots. But they're walking Reimagine Tomorrow back. They're going to probably call it something different, but they also know they're being watched by the government, so they're not going to push it too much further. And it is what it is. So there's a little bit of good news today. It's not completely dead, but it's on life support. I don't think it's holding on very much. I think if we go back to just, hey, we need to understand the world's a big place and there's lots of different kinds of people in it. And just because someone's different than you is no reason for you to hate them and for them to hate you. And maybe it's okay not everything's a microaggression. And maybe sometimes you just ask a question because you legitimately are interested in what they have to say or their culture, or maybe you actually just like their hair, or maybe you think they do smell nice. If you say, oh yeah, your perfume smells nice. Maybe not everything is a flipping microaggression. And I mentioned the perfume because some woman had a hissy that a white woman sniffed her and said she smelled nice. I wish I was kidding. You cannot make up the level of victimhood and stupidity. And it's cost Disney dearly. So, what do you think? Please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.